I started working at 15. Every blister, every graveyard shift, every dollar, mine. 60,000 in student loans? I paid them. Alone. Meanwhile, my brother's life was gift-wrapped. His tuition? Covered. His car? A shiny hand-me-down BMW. And then, they asked me to co-sign a $40,000 loan for his son. Not with gratitude. With entitlement. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I just smiled, nodded, and vanished. By the time they noticed the silence, I was already gone. My name is Mara. I'm 30 years old. I learned responsibility at 15. The hard way. My friends got cars for their birthdays. I got a job at a diner, scraping plates until midnight. They got allowances. I got blisters on my palms and grease burns on my arms. While everyone else enjoyed youth, I learned survival. Every paycheck went to savings. Every dollar earmarked for one goal. A college degree. But college wasn't a celebration. It was a contract. $60,000 in student loans. All in my name. I signed anyway. While others slept through classes, I worked doubles. While they partied, I stacked textbooks on counters during graveyard shifts. And every month, like clockwork, I made the payment. For a decade, I chipped away at that mountain. Dollar by dollar. Hour by hour. Until finally one day I was free. I made the last payment in a tiny studio with peeling wallpaper. I poured a cheap bottle of wine into a chipped mug and cried. It wasn't happiness exactly. It was survival. But that night, I thought, maybe now they'll see me. Except in my family, effort never mattered. My brother, Mark, was the golden child. His tuition? Paid in full. His car? A shiny BMW from Grandpa. His life? A red carpet rolled out by the family. And mine? A grindstone. I swallowed the bitterness. I worked harder. I convinced myself it didn't matter. Until the phone rang. Mom's voice, sweet but rehearsed. Your nephew got into college. That's wonderful, I said, and meant it. She hesitated, then added. We were hoping you could co-sign his private loan. Just 40,000. Just your signature. My heart stopped. 40,000. Why not Mark? I asked. Silence. Then Dad's voice, firm, decisive. Your credit is stronger. He shouldn't be tied down. You're better at this. Better at drowning. Better at clawing my way out of debt while they floated above water on rafts I built. I looked around my apartment. Second-hand couch, thrifted dishes, a single plant stretching toward the window. Everything in this room was mine. Earned. And now they wanted me to gamble it all. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I just said, I'll think about it. Then I hung up. The quiet that followed wasn't empty. It was clarity. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as collateral. And in that moment I made a decision. I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't explain. I would vanish. The decision took root that night. By morning, it bloomed into action. First step. Money. I logged into my accounts, rerouting deposits, closing the joint phone plan I secretly paid for, canceling the family emergency transfers no one thanked me for. Each click was a cut string. Each cancellation, a chain breaking. The second step. Silence. I bought a new phone. New number. No group chats. No midnight guilt calls. The third step. Freedom. I booked a one-way ticket. No return. A city 3 states over where no one knew my name, where every street corner could be a fresh page. By noon, I had a go-bag by the door. Clothes. Laptop. Passport. And one folded letter on the counter. It read, I choose my life. Nothing more. The text started rolling in by evening. Mom, don't forget, we need your answer soon. Dad, your brother's counting on you. Don't disappoint us. Mark. Hey sis, don't overthink. It's just a signature. Family helps family. I stared at the words, my chest hollow. Family. That word had been used to chain me for years. But family wasn't supposed to mean sacrifice without love. Family wasn't supposed to mean being useful only as long as your wallet stayed open. So I didn't reply. That night, I turned off my old phone for good. I sat by the window, watching the city lights blink like distant stars. The quiet felt strange, like stepping into a new skin. And then it hit me. I wasn't running away. I was setting myself free. The next morning, I'd disappear. No explanations. No arguments. Just silence. And in that silence, for the first time, they'd finally feel what I felt all along. Alone. By the time the sun rose, I was gone. My apartment key slid across the counter. My letter, 4 words sharp as a blade, waited on the table. I choose my life. The bus pulled away from the city, and with every mile, the weight on my chest lightened. But back home? The weight was shifting onto theirs. At first, they thought I was bluffing. Mom called. Dad texted. Mark left a voice message, half annoyed, half chuckling. Funny joke, sis. Send the papers by Friday, all right? Friday came. The loan deadline hit. And my signature was nowhere to be found. That's when the tone changed. Julia, where are you? This isn't funny. Your nephew's future is on the line. Do you want him to fail? Their panic grew louder with every passing day. Unpaid bills stacked. Creditors called. Mark's son's college application stalled, frozen without my name attached. And for the first time, it wasn't me losing sleep. It was them. Dad's messages turned sharp. You're selfish. After all we've done for you, this is how you repay us. I laughed bitterly when I read that. What had they done for me? Did they pay my loans? Did they work my shifts? Did they stand beside me when I cried over empty bank accounts? No. They watched from the sidelines, clapping for Mark, while I bled silently. Now the silence was theirs. Mom's final voicemail cracked with tears. Sweetheart, please. Come home. We didn't mean it. Just, please don't leave us like this. But I didn't answer. Because for the first time, I understood something they never had. Silence can be power. And mine was echoing louder than their demands ever did. The silence didn't just linger. It poisoned them. Without my deposits, their perfect picture began to crack. Mark's son missed the loan deadline. Acceptance letters didn't matter anymore. The money wasn't there. And suddenly, the golden nephew's future looked fragile. The whispers started. First in the family group chat. Then at Sunday dinners. Why didn't you co-sign, Mark? You had everything handed to you. Why is it always Mara cleaning up? The blame slid like knives across the table. Dad defended Mark, shouting that I had abandoned family. But Mom, tired, desperate, snapped. She carried us for years, and you never lifted a finger, she screamed at him. The silence that followed was heavier than any storm. For the first time in years, they weren't united against me. They were tearing each other apart. I wasn't there to mediate. I wasn't there to fix. I wasn't there to bleed quietly so they could keep their peace. So the peace shattered. Mark called me, his voice breaking through static. You ruined everything. My son's future is ruined. You're selfish, Mara. I didn't answer. Because deep down, he knew the truth. His son's future wasn't ruined by me. It was ruined by his entitlement. Bills piled on their counter. Late fees on cars. Shut-off notices. And slowly, neighbors started to notice. The family they bragged about. The perfect son, the grateful daughter, the strong parents. Now looked weak, hollow, desperate. And still, I stayed silent. Because this wasn't revenge. It was revelation. I hadn't destroyed them. I had simply stepped away. And let them face the reality they had built. And by midnight, reality was winning. I woke up to silence. No buzzing phone. No frantic voicemails. No guilt pressing down like a wet blanket. For the first time in years, my mornings belonged to me. I made coffee in peace. Sat by the window in my new apartment 3 states away. And just breathed. It felt strange, almost unnatural, to not be on call for their chaos. But it also felt like freedom. Meanwhile, back home, the chaos had reached a breaking point. Mom called my old number 20 times a day, her voice trembling on every voicemail. Sweetheart, please, just talk to us. We need you. We can't do this without you. Dad tried anger. Ungrateful. After all we gave you, this is how you repay us. But the neighbors already knew the truth. They whispered about the car repossessions, the unpaid mortgage, the nephew forced to defer college. Mark, the golden child, had finally lost his shine. And the more they struggled, the more I realized something vital. I hadn't abandoned them. I had simply stopped carrying them. They were drowning in the very waters I had swum through alone. The same waters they mocked me for surviving. Now, with no lifeline left, they were sinking. I thought about answering once. Thought about stepping back in, rescuing them just one more time. But then I remembered the sound of my own sobs years ago, crying alone while paying my $60,000 in loans, knowing no one was coming to help me. And I knew. Their pain wasn't mine to fix. Not anymore. So I sipped my coffee, closed my eyes, and whispered to myself, this is what freedom tastes like. And for the first time in my life, it was enough. It came on a Sunday evening. An email, long, rambling, written not in anger but in panic. Subject line: We're sorry. Mom's words filled the screen. Julia, we made a mistake. We pushed you too far. We shouldn't have said what we said. Please just come home. Your brother is struggling. Your nephew is devastated. The family isn't the same without you. For a moment, I just stared at the blinking cursor. A part of me, the old me, ached to reply. To soothe. To save. But then I scrolled further. Dad had added his piece. We need you. We've always needed you. And we always thought you'd understand that family comes first. If you come back, we can make this right. And then Mark, blunt as ever. You've proved your point. But you're being cruel now. Just sign the loan. It's not about you. It's about my son. There it was. Even in their apology, the truth bled through. They weren't sorry for how they treated me. They were sorry I stopped paying for it. I closed my laptop slowly, my reflection staring back in the black screen. 4 years, I had begged for their approval, their love, their respect. But all I ever was to them was a safety net. And now, that net was gone. So I opened my phone, drafted a single reply. Family isn't just blood. Family is love, respect, and sacrifice. Shared, not stolen. You wanted space from me, and I gave it to you. I won't take that back now. I'm done being your wallet. Find another way. I hit send. Blocked their numbers. Closed the laptop for good. And as the room filled with silence, I felt something powerful surge inside me. This wasn't cruelty. This was closure. For the first time, the word family didn't mean pain. It meant me choosing myself finally. The morning after I sent that final message, the world felt lighter. No buzzing phone. No guilt tugging at my chest. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like a second chance. I walked through my new neighborhood, coffee in hand, and for once I wasn't counting every penny. I wasn't bracing for the next phone call. I was living. I found a small bookstore on the corner and signed up for their weekend book club. I started painting again, brushes spread across a second-hand easel I bought myself. Little things. But they weren't little to me. They were mine. Meanwhile, through whispers and social media, I learned what became of them. Mark's son deferred college. The car payments lapsed. The house slipped closer to foreclosure. And the family? The family that always presented itself as untouchable? It fractured. Mom blamed Dad. Dad blamed Mark. Mark blamed me. But I didn't bite. I didn't step back into the fire. Because I had finally learned the truth. Their survival had never been my responsibility. And their downfall wasn't my guilt to carry. One evening, Grandma called me. The only person I hadn't blocked. Her voice was soft, understanding. They still don't see it, Mara, she said. They don't see what they did to you. But I do. And I'm proud of you for walking away. Tears slipped down my cheeks, not from sadness, but from relief. Because finally, someone in that family saw me as more than a wallet. As me. That night, I sat at my desk and opened my journal. I wrote the last entry of this chapter. I worked since 15. I carried 60,000 in debt alone. I carried them too without thanks, without love. But the day they asked for more, I gave them silence. And in that silence I found myself. I closed the journal, set down my pen, and whispered into the empty room, words I wished I'd said years ago. I am not your safety net. I am not your scapegoat. I am free. And for the first time in 30 years, I believed it. The girl who once begged for scraps of love had vanished. And in her place stood a woman who knew her worth. A woman who didn't argue, didn't explain, didn't plead. She simply vanished. And in that vanishing, she finally appeared.